Hello students, today we are going to start a very wonderful lesson which is on Albert Einstein, and the name of this lesson is Truly Beautiful Mind. It's lesson 4 of Beehive. So here we have Albert Einstein on the screen, and you can see his photograph with his first wife. Her name was Mileva Merrick. Albert was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, and he died on 18th April 1955 in New Jersey, USA. This picture is of Mileva Merrick, who was her wife from 1903 to 1919. His second wife was Elsa Einstein, who was his cousin. He got many awards like Bernard Medal in 1920, Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921, the very important one, and the Time Person of the Century in 1999, and he got many more awards as well. Now let's go through some difficult words from this chapter which I have picked for you right in front of you. Contrary, it means opposite. Freak means unusual. Uttered means when you speak something, spoke in past tense. Prolonged, very long, it takes a lot of time. Gifted means skilled. Tenderness means softness. Patent means copyrights. Amateur, a person who does something for self. Skill, ability to do something well. Regimentation means extreme discipline. Stifled means suffocated. Decade means a period of 10 years. Visionary, a person who can think about the future. Relativity, it is one of the Einstein theory in physics. Flattered means became weak. Proclaimed means to disclose. Lauded means admired. Urging, requesting, and uproar means very upset. Clashed, quarreled. Ally, a friend. So now let's know the characters from this story. We have Albert Einstein. We have Mileva Merrick, who was the first wife of Albert Einstein. Then we have Elsa. Elsa was the first cousin of Albert Einstein, and Albert marries Elsa the same year of his divorce. So the picture that you can see right on the screen is of Elsa, the second wife of Albert Einstein. Then we had a younger sister of Albert. Her name was Maza. Here I have some more pictures for you. The first picture that you are seeing is of Abraham and Helen Einstein, who were Albert Einstein's parents. The second picture in the middle is of Albert Einstein. You can see he was a very young boy. And in the third picture, you can again see Albert Einstein with his younger sister, Maza. No doubt these are indeed very rare pictures of his family. Now, let me start with this chapter. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. When he finally uttered, he said everything 2 times. He did not know what to do with other children, and so other children called him Brother Boring because he never enjoyed playing with them. Now Otto Neugebauer, the historian of ancient mathematics, told a very interesting story about Einstein that he characterizes as a legend, but that seems fairly authentic. As he was a late talker, his parents were very much worried. At last, at the dinner table one night, Einstein broke his silence and he said, "The soup is hot." His parents were greatly relieved hearing these golden words coming from his mouth, and they even asked him that why he had never said a word before. On this, Einstein innocently replied that because till now everything was in order. He especially loved mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister Maza, he said, "Fine, she is so cute, but where are her wheels?" A headmaster once told his father that Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he will never make a success at anything, because he thought that Einstein is a very dumb child. Einstein actually went to a high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was just 15 months old. He scored good marks in almost every subject, but Einstein hated the school regimentation, which means extreme discipline, and he often clashed with his teachers. At the age of 15, finally, Einstein decided that he has to leave the school. After prolonged discussion with his parents, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking school, but not in Germany, but in Switzerland. It was a city which was much liberal than Munich. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and showed interest in physics as well. After finishing school, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. There, he also felt a special interest in a fellow student. Her name was Mileva Merrick, and soon they not only became good friends, but the couple fell in love. In 1900, at the age of 21, Einstein completed his university graduation, but he was still unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant. He gave private lessons and finally scored a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patents office in Bern. He was supposed to be assessing other people's invention, but something special was going on in his mind. He was developing his own ideas secretly. He even said to his desk jokingly that it was not a regular desk, it was a bureau of theoretical physics. Through this, he just wanted to tell others that he is not doing something which is very easy for anyone. He is handling something related to physics which are very complicated and deep beyond anyone's understanding. Now, one of the most important papers of 1905 had news about Einstein's special theory of relativity. From this theory, he followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy as E is equal to mc square. Albert wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. The pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But few years later, the marriage faltered because Mileva was losing her ambitions, she was becoming an unhappy housewife, and she did not want to do all these things. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the very same year. I hope you remember the photograph I showed you in the beginning of this explanation. In 1915, he published his General Theory of Relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. So this theory became more popular than the previous one because it had more easy explanation about what gravity does. Einstein even correctly calculated in advance that too to the extent to which light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field, and this was something extraordinary that at that point in time. So the newspapers proclaimed his work as something extraordinary, and it was indeed a scientific revolution. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921, and he was showered with a lot of honors, awards, invitation from all over the world, and a lot of appreciation by the press media. Now Nazis took over Germany in 1933, and then Einstein, he immigrated to United States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission or atomic bomb in Berlin, which was in Germany, put American physicists in an uproar. That means they started talking about the invention of an atomic bomb, which was a very lethal weapon. Einstein decided to write a letter to American president, and the president at that point in time was Franklin D. Roosevelt. He wrote this letter on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned the president that a single bomb of this type, if exploded at a place, can not only destroy that place but also the surrounding territories. So that means it was a very, very lethal weapon. But there was no effect on the American president on that. Instead, the Americans developed the atomic bomb on their own as a part of their secret project, and they dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of this destruction. This time, he wrote a public missive to the United Nations. Now, public missive means an open letter which can be read by the public as well. And in that letter, he proposed that there should be a world government that should be formed so that we can stop the production and use of nuclear weapons all over the world. But like the letter written to the American president, this letter also had no impact on anybody. But over the next decade, Einstein got more involved in politics as well. And his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy made him popular further. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was not only celebrated as a visionary, but people also recognized him as a world citizen as much as a scientific genius. This is where the chapter ends. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story about Albert Einstein. But wait, I have a special surprise for you. Can you see this picture on the screen? This is a picture of Albert Einstein the day he received his Nobel Prize in Physics. But that's not all. I even want you to hear the original voice of Albert Einstein, which was recorded from an audio. So are you ready for it? Let's hear Albert Einstein.
Ladies and gentlemen, our age is proud of the progress it has made in man's intellectual development. The search and striving for truth and knowledge is one of the highest of man's qualities. Though often the pride is most loudly voiced by those who strive the least. And certainly, we should take care not to make the intellect our goat. It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. It cannot lead, it can only serve. And it is not fastidious in its choice of a leader. This characteristic is reflected in the qualities of its priests, the intellectuals. The intellect has a sharp eye for methods and tools, but is blind to ends and values. So it is no wonder that this fatal blindness is handed on from old to young, and today involves a whole generation.
I hope you really enjoyed hearing Albert Einstein during this time. So this was all from my side. I hope I am able to explain you this wonderful lesson in the as easiest way as possible. In the end, I would like to thank you again for watching this video, and do not forget to watch my next video, which is on poem 4 of Beehive, which is The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Please like, comment and share for this video, and subscribe to the channel Learn with Dheeraj. Goodbye.